Russian missiles hit Ukrainian apartment buildings in latest deadly strikes on civilian areas. Pakistani retaliatory strikes in Iran kill at least 9, raising tensions along border. Medicine for hostages and Palestinians arrives in Gaza under first Israel-Hamas deal since November. Today is Friday, January 19, 2024, and this is the Dunkley Report. Officials say Russia fired 2 missiles at Kharkiv in northeastern Ukraine during the night, hitting apartment buildings and a medical center, and injuring 17 people. It was among Moscow's latest strikes on civilian areas in the nearly 2-year-old war. Regional officials say the S-300 missiles landed after dark Tuesday. Analysts say the surface-to-air missiles have been adapted by Russia to hit land targets on the ground and are cheaper than ballistic or cruise missiles, but less accurate. Both sides are looking to replenish their arsenals, as fighting along the front line is largely bogged down during winter, and the focus turns to long-range missile, drone, and artillery strikes. Pakistan launches airstrikes against alleged militant hideouts inside Iran, killing at least 9 people as it retaliates for a similar attack by Iran 2 days earlier and raises tensions between the neighbors at a time of escalating conflict in the region. The strikes Thursday in Sistan and Baluchestan province follow Iran's attack Tuesday on Pakistani soil that killed 2 children in the southwestern Baluchistan province. The unprecedented cross-border strikes imperil relations between neighbors that have long regarded each other with suspicion over militant attacks. The attacks also raise the threat of violence spreading in the Middle East, which is already unsettled by Israel's war with Hamas in Gaza. A spokesman for Qatar's foreign ministry says a shipment of medicine for dozens of hostages held by Hamas has reached the Gaza Strip. The medicine arrived in Gaza on Wednesday as part of a deal mediated by France and Qatar. It was the first agreement between Israel and Hamas since a truce in late November that freed dozens of captives, mostly women and children. For every box that arrives for a hostage, 1,000 boxes will arrive to Palestinians in Gaza. In a post on X, Qatar Foreign Ministry, spokesman Majed Al-Ansari did not say how or when the aid would be distributed. A prosecutor in Ecuador, who was investigating an attack on the set of a public television channel by a group of armed men last week, has been slain. The Attorney General says prosecutor Cesar Suarez was shot to death Wednesday while driving in Guayaquil, the most dangerous city in Ecuador. Suarez had carried out other high-profile investigations in addition to the incident at the TV station in Guayaquil. 13 alleged perpetrators have been charged in the assault at TC Television, an unprecedented attack that led President Daniel Noboa to declare Ecuador to be in an internal armed conflict. Palestinians are dying every day in Gaza's overwhelmed remaining hospitals, which can't deal with the estimated 60,000 injured people and daily arrival of hundreds more hurt. In Israel's military offensive, a UN health emergency expert said Wednesday, while a doctor with the International Rescue Committee said the situation in Gaza's hospitals was the most extreme she had ever seen. The 2 health professionals who recently left Gaza after weeks working in hospitals described overwhelmed doctors, trying to save the lives of thousands of wounded people amid collapsing hospitals that have turned into impromptu refugee camps. Pakistan has recalled its ambassador to Tehran a day after Iran conducted airstrikes inside Pakistan that it claimed targeted bases for a militant Sunni separatist group. Islamabad denounced the attack as a blatant violation of its airspace and said it killed 2 children. Tuesday's strike in Pakistan's restive southwestern Baluchistan province imperiled diplomatic relations between the two neighbors. Iran and nuclear-armed Pakistan have long regarded each other with suspicion over militant attacks. However, both sides appear wary of provoking the other. The attack also raised the threat of spreading violence in a Middle East unsettled by Israel's war with Hamas in the Gaza Strip. Despite having the support of millions of Guatemalans, newly installed President Bernardo Arévalo has a clear obstacle: the Attorney General's office and its leader, Consuelo Porras. Arévalo has made a bold promise to clean up corruption in a Central American state that for years has kept swaths of the countryside marginalized and impoverished. But he already has faced waves of court challenges that sought to stop him from taking office Sunday. The president has said he will propose a meeting this week with Porras and will ask for her resignation. She likely will refuse, and Guatemalan law blocks the president from removing the top prosecutor. Porras will likely continue to throw hurdles in the way of Arévalo as he attempts to carry out his progressive agenda. The U.S. State Department has barred former Guatemalan President Alejandro Giammattei from entering the United States, accusing him significant corruption just 3 days after he left office. The Biden administration had become increasingly critical of Giammattei's administration as Guatemalan prosecutors sought to block Sunday's inauguration of new President Bernardo Arévalo, who has vowed to crack down on corruption. State Department spokesman Matthew Miller said in a statement Wednesday that the U.S. has credible information indicating that Giammattei accepted bribes in exchange for the performance of his public functions during his tenure as President of Guatemala, actions that undermined the rule of law and government transparency. A U.S.-owned ship in the Gulf of Aden has come under attack from a bomb-carrying drone launched by Yemen's Houthi rebels. The attack on the Genco Picardy represented the second in recent days, targeting vessels directly linked to America after U.S.-led strikes targeting the Houthis. It also underlined the risks to shipping in the vital waterway amid Israel's war on Hamas in the Gaza Strip. Brig General Yahya Saree, a military spokesman for the Houthis, identified the ship and threatened more attacks to come. The ship's owner acknowledged the attack. Kensington Palace says the Princess of Wales has been hospitalized after undergoing planned abdominal surgery and will remain at the private London clinic for up to 2 weeks. Buckingham Palace revealed moments after news of Kate's hospitalization was released on Wednesday that King Charles III would undergo a corrective procedure next week for an enlarged prostate. The palace said the king's condition is benign. The palace says the 75-year-old monarch has sought treatment for an enlarged prostate, in common with thousands of men each year. The former Kate Middleton is expected to return to public duties after Easter. The 42-year-old future queen was admitted to the London clinic on Tuesday. Today's news was reported by the Associated Press. This has been the international news for Friday, January 19th, 2024. Thanks again for joining us here at the Dunkley Report.